What do you do when your girlfriend's family will not stop judging you and what you eat every time you go out to eat with them? We'll get into that in a bit, but first, I found things I didn't want to see on my boyfriend's Reddit account. My female 29 partner, male 29, and I have been together for a few years now, and I found his Reddit account the other day. I saw he was commenting on adult subreddits, and it made me feel bad, one, because we have a great relationship and are very communicative and sex positive, but this hit my self-esteem a bit because I've been feeling low as of late. Two, if my dumb butt hadn't been interested in looking at his Reddit, I wouldn't have found it. For context, we're both very open about our interests, and adult entertainment has never been an issue in our relationship. I don't mind if he watches it, we both do, and we talked about it early in our relationship. Perhaps I shouldn't have looked, and I will take accountability for that. We've always respected each other's privacy but never set any boundaries in terms of things like this. I wanted to get gift ideas for Christmas because he never really has wants for anything, and I feel like I've exhausted all areas of his interest and figured I could look here for ideas. Now I just feel like crap and I don't know whether or not to even mention it or tell him how I feel because I don't want him to feel bad. And granted, everyone has attraction outside of their partner, but did you have to comment publicly on someone's naked photos? I'm wondering if this is worth having a conversation about, or if it's best to just let it go. I've had a lot going on recently, and I may just be upset because of my recent mental health, but I also don't want to hide what I did from him. So I think it's one thing to be looking or watching. I think it's normal enough for a lot of people. The thing that's different here is if you went on somebody's Reddit account and saw that they were interacting or looking at this stuff on Reddit, it would be because they're specifically commenting to posts people have put out there. Now, without being told what exactly they're saying, you can venture a guess, and I feel like personally it goes a little bit beyond just watching or looking at adult stuff. I mean, in most cases, these are individuals posting their own actual photos that they're saying who knows what to. I would own up to the snooping, but I feel like OP also has an argument here as far as his actions are a little bit far for somebody in a committed relationship. Personally, I feel like watching it is one thing. Interacting with it, especially on a semi-personal level, even if it's not their actual name, how far away is that really from some level of cheating? Just because there's some anonymity behind it or because there's a greater chance of not having an actual connection or conversation with that person, I do think it's a bit much. Also, hi, I'm Steven, and if you guys enjoy these tricky relationship topics, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? That said, our next story is I, 30-year-old male, went through my girlfriend's 30-year-old female phone. A little background, I started dating this girl earlier in the year and we became official in about 2 months of getting to know each other. I was very open in what I was looking for, which was a serious relationship. We both communicated the wants at this point in our lives and everything we wanted aligned. This relationship has always felt so smooth and easy, and it made it easier to fall for her even more. Fast forward to 7 months of boyfriend/girlfriend, I am in love with this girl, and she says she's head over heels for me. There was a party we attended, and we ended up staying the night together. Both of us got really wasted, but I wasn't able to fall asleep right away while she knocked out. I let my intrusive thoughts get the best of me, and I felt the urge to go through her phone, which I did. I specifically went through her DMs and saw that 2 months into being official, she was chatting with a guy she used to hook up with or had a relationship with. Conversation went something like, "Do you miss the nights we spent together?" with her saying "stop" with a monkey emoji covering its ears. He said, "Do you?" She said no. He replied, "I say you do. I remember kissing on that neck." She replied, "Oh, do you?" He said, "Do you?" smirking emoji. She replied, "Haha, of course. How can I forget?" He replied, "You still think about me, huh?" She said, "Do you?" He said, "I asked the question." She said, "So did I." He replied, "Answer and then I'll tell you." She replied, "You, I always do." He said, "Tell me." She said, "You tell me." Tell me how you feel." He said, "I asked you." She said, "I can't answer." "You know why?" He said, "I know the truth. You probably think about me often." She replied saying his name with an exclamation mark. Note, this conversation is accurate. I took some pics of the convo. I felt so hurt when I read this. I understand that I shouldn't have gone through her phone like that, but I really wasn't expecting to find anything. At this point, I just feel so paranoid and heartbroken. I don't know what to do. Should I confront her about this or keep this to myself? If I confront her, I just don't know how to start the conversation. If I keep it to myself, I feel like I'll be dying inside slowly. Any advice is appreciated. That going on 2 months into a relationship is not a good look to me. I mean, you could say somebody might be keeping their options open or whatever just in case something doesn't work out, but that shouldn't be the mindset if you're in a committed relationship. They had an ample opportunity to shut it down and say they have a boyfriend, but they returned all that flirting plenty of times. Honestly, it becomes a greater question where you take a step back and you ask yourself, who was more in the wrong here? This person talking like this 2 months into a relationship, or OP for being 7 months into a relationship and snooping through their phone when they first got the chance? I mean, maybe as long as it stayed contained to that period in time and there was nothing else going on, it'd probably be something you could maybe move past, but I know if I were in OP's position, I don't know if I'd be able to honestly easily get past that. Our next story is, girlfriend wants to be open, but no adult entertainment. My girlfriend, 32-year-old female, and I, 33-year-old male, have dated for about a year and things have been going really well. Recently though, she surprised me by mentioning that she would like me to not watch any adult entertainment from this point forward in our relationship. I was a bit surprised because we've frankly never spoken about the subject before, and it's not really a part of my life anyway, so I asked her if she would mind sharing her thoughts about it and why it was important to her. She said she usually waits until around this point in her relationship to tell her partner this, and that it's just something that's a boundary for her, but didn't elaborate further. I felt the way she phrased it seemed less like a request and more like an ultimatum, but I told her I would think about it. She said okay. About a week later, she mentioned indirectly that down the line, she would want to be non-monogamous. Again, pretty surprising and not something she had ever expressed during our discussions about the future, but of course, we're all entitled to change our minds at any point, so I told her that it wasn't really something I was interested in, but respected her wishes and would think about that too. Although I appreciate her honesty now on both issues, I feel totally blindsided and confused about why this is all coming up a year into our relationship. My gut instinct is activated that something is wrong, that our partnership is not safe, and that these issues aren't really areas for compromise but rather an order, my way or the highway. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it. I do feel on edge, so I know I'm not thinking totally rationally. How would you deal with this while staying true to yourself and welcoming debate and compromise? Well, to be fair, anybody that says, well, I usually wait until I've dated somebody for about a year in before I disclose some of my boundaries is a huge red flag, and personally, I don't know if I buy that. You mean to tell me that you had boundaries that were deal breakers for the relationship for you and you waited a year to express that? Honestly, I think this comes down to, are you happy with an open relationship? Because personally, I feel like if somebody is suggesting or saying that they want an open relationship, I think it's a pretty foregone conclusion that you're either going to be okay with it or your relationship should maybe be wrapped up. More power to the people who enjoy and thrive in open relationships, but springing it on your partner kind of is a blatant advertisement that they want to sleep around with other people, and I'm willing to bet most people have a strong opinion on whether or not they're okay with that. Our next story is, I, 24-year-old female, went through my boyfriend's 24-year-old male phone and found messages between him and his 30-year-old female coworker. For background, my boyfriend and I have been together for 3+ years, about to be 4 soon. We've been very open with one another and never had doubts about our future together. We both love each other mentally. I can't imagine a life without him. Fast forward to this past weekend, my boyfriend and I traveled to a different city to see my friend get married. The wedding was amazing and a huge hit full of love, joy, laughter, and drinking. After the wedding was over, a small group of us went out to the bars. However, my boyfriend decided to stay in and sleep since he had to drive us back in the morning. When I got home, my boyfriend was passed out in the bed asleep. Something told me to go through his messages that night, and I found texts between him and his female coworker. She confronted him ghosting her after she had sent him naked photos that he begged for on Snapchat. He told her he had a girlfriend and wasn't into being friends. However, she told him that she texts his supervisor, married with kids, and it wasn't a problem. He apologized and said it's hard to say no when she turns him on in an instant. I checked his Snapchat and there was no trace of a conversation between the two of them, nor them being friends on that platform. They are not friends on other social platforms as well. I woke him up in that instant asking who she was and why he received explicit pictures from her, but he denied everything. This is where it might get confusing. I told him that she reached out to me with these messages, even though I found it on his phone, saying that he cheated on me. He told me he would never do anything to jeopardize our relationship and that I am the one for him. I asked him if he would turn her into HR for all of this, and he said yes. I then told him I needed time and space to think over the Thanksgiving holiday, since I would be out of town in a different place visiting my parents. Since then, he's been love bombing me, telling me how much he loves me and he would never do anything to hurt me. I'm just so confused on why he would lie to my face and not come forward. Do I tell him I found the messages on his phone? Do I turn them both into HR? I truly need help and I'm turning to you all for advice on what to do. I truly love this man and want to marry him. Sent text messages are sent text messages. You read what you read and he turned around and lied to you about it? He tried to frame it as she was the one in the wrong when he sent a message to her saying that she turns him on in an instant. I think it's a heartbreaking thing considering OP's relationship and how happy they were. But this dude is not only sleazing around behind your back, he's trying to lie to your face about it. Our next story is, I saw something I wasn't meant to see for my significant other. Before I start, 22-year-old female, some details. Been with my partner, 24-year-old male, for almost 7 years. This last year, their mental health has dropped and they haven't been doing too well. At one point, they said they have thought about SH. Since then, they've been going to therapy and having medication. But due to his confession, every now and then I check his Reddit to see if he's posted anything alarming. I saw something once a few months back, which is what started this. Today, however, I saw something that I don't know if it makes me justifiable on ending things. I don't want to put too much detail, but he stated in a Reddit post that despite thinking I'm the most beautiful woman, he wants to see my friends naked. My soul is crushed. Am I overreacting? I would understand if it was celebrities, but my friends? I'm scared to end things due to their low mental health. Well, in a situation where you're unhappy being in a relationship, you can't allow somebody else's struggles with mental health become a crutch for you to never leave or have to feel like you're always having to stick around. I mean, especially if it's something where if you said you were leaving and they said, well, they're going to do this or that, that's more of a manipulation tactic in my opinion, and something that you don't tolerate and you call for a welfare check or something along those lines. This next story is, I, 28-year-old female, proposed to my boyfriend, 25-year-old male, and I think I regret it. To add some context, we met when I worked as a bartender and he was a waiter. We've been living together for a little more than 2 years. Now he has the job he's always wanted as a cook. We always talk about growing old together and we have pets together, plus we don't want children. A couple months after we started dating, he said he really wanted to marry me, and since he has self-esteem issues, I thought it would be a good idea for me to propose so that he wouldn't think I was just settling for him or something like that. Anyway, I bought the rings, showed him some rings, hinted what he liked, and I got them. After proposing, he wasn't super excited or anything. He seemed grateful, and we didn't have much money to celebrate, but I really did expect more. Time went by, and he always says he can't wait to marry me, but we didn't even celebrate with a beer, nor did we go anywhere. I brought that up, and he said if I wanted to do something, I could just set it up, but I feel like I already did my part and he hasn't done anything? I told him I didn't expect a huge party or anything, but at least a coffee together would have been nice, or some nice words even. All he said is that he couldn't come up with a speech out of the blue. But then again, that was a while ago and he never made it up. Anyway, I don't know. For me, it was a huge deal since I'm very, very choosy with the people I decide to share my life with. And he says it's a big deal for him too, but he didn't even tell his friends or family, like any of them. I don't know exactly what I'm asking. I just want to know if this is common, I guess. Thank you, internet people. To me, I feel like this guy was maybe getting ahead of himself, maybe saying some stuff that was said kind of in the heat of the moment that maybe they don't truly fully mean. Or maybe he had a different vision of how things would go and that's affecting things, but he's not communicating it. I guess the troubling thing here is OP's kind of brought it up, maybe not as directly as possible, and they really haven't given OP anything to go off of. I would just think if you truly meant that you wanted to be with this person and you wanted to marry them, you would be a little bit more ecstatic when said person you said that to puts a ring on that thing. This next story is, would you leave? TLDR, my partner of 15 years has no interest in getting married despite it being important to me. We're in our 30s and have 2 kids. We had our first child 2 years in, so not necessarily traditional in order, but he has always known it's important to me. He used to be actively vile about it if I brought it up. If you don't like it, freak off kind of thing. I stopped bringing it up for many years until I watched or missed friends getting married because he wouldn't even come to weddings with me. He explained a big wedding wasn't his idea of a good day. We talked about it and I told him me either. We have small families and not huge groups of friends, so I don't know where that even comes from. Then still nothing. Fast forward to 2 years ago and we were going through a rough time. I had had enough of the inequality and disappointment in the relationship and wanted to leave. He was, of course, full of promises to be a better partner and wanted to marry me, etc. Here we are now, and he still only does maybe 25% childcare and home duties. We both work. The mental load of home life is 100% on me, and we have not spoken about getting married or moving forward in any way since. He has been making some investments and some extra income, and was telling me about plans to grow his money. I asked him what he's saving for. What does he want to do with it? You can bet marrying me wasn't even in the top 5. I didn't say anything, but I've thought about it all day. I really just want to get up and leave without even talking about it. Am I awful for breaking up my family because my relationship will never be what I want and will never become a marriage? I mean, if you're unhappy and unfulfilled in your relationship, how are you ever the jerk for wanting better for yourself and wanting something that's going to make you happier, what you want in life? Do what you can to make sure you take care of the kids as best as you can, even maybe remaining cordial. But if this relationship is dragging you down, you can't just keep going through that, right? Our next story is, my partner, 33-year-old male, is close friends with his much younger female coworker. It makes me, 35-year-old female, uncomfortable, and he doesn't care. My partner and I are mid-30s and have been together for nearly 4 years, with about a 4 to 5 month break very early on in our relationship. During said break, he went on a weekend work retreat in the mountains and connected with an old coworker while there. She is 25. Side note, he lied to me and said she's 28 when I said she's much younger than him, at which point I said she clearly says she's 25 in her Instagram bio. He had no response to that, which further fuels my distrust. When we got back together shortly after that, it became quite the pain point for me that they had decided to buy tickets to see a show together on this retreat, and he fully intended to still go to this with her. Obviously, I understand men can have female friends. However, I have my doubts their friendship was entirely platonic at that stage, but my partner swears it has always been. She's also nearly 10 years younger than him, which I find to be inappropriate. But he goes to the show with her, has dinner with her beforehand despite many conversations and arguments about it making me feel weird. This was a couple years ago now. Since then, we've moved in together. Fast forward to today, I see her name pop up very frequently in his texts while he's showing me something on his phone. Her name always at the top of his recent Teams messages. We both work from home. The full nature of their relationship remains a mystery to me, as he becomes highly defensive when I ask if they hang out at work, go to lunch together, what they text about, etc. He doesn't share anything with me, just says I should trust him and that's that. Tonight, when I saw her name pop up on his phone at 10 p.m., I lost it. I said I'm tired of him disrespecting my feelings on this matter, and that he clearly values her more than me, and I will never be comfortable with this. He basically said he doesn't like ultimatums, and I told him I already know he's choosing her, which he didn't argue with. Instead, he shut down, rolled over, and went to bed. We'll likely not speak for days while he hopes I just get over it, like the many other times, and we go back to normal until it comes up again. Am I being irrational? If so, how can we move forward? I would say OP is being irrational if he was open and honest about what kind of relationship they had. The fact that this guy cannot communicate about it, whether or not they're actually doing anything, almost kind of implies that there's some kind of feelings that are wrong here. If there's nothing to hide, there would be nothing to hide. Our next story is, my 26-year-old male mother decided to cut me off because I said no to giving her more money. I've been in a weird relationship with my mother where she and my stepdad, who is addicted to gambling, almost always are running out of money before the end of the month. Recently, my stepdad got loans from loan sharks and they've demanded repayment at insane interest rates. I plugged in to help them make ends meet. Then yesterday, she sent me a link to pay their Comcast bill and I was like, I'm starting to feel like I'm being used as an ATM. She responded by saying, "Wow, sorry, I didn't realize I was making life so hard for you. Have a nice life and sorry again." Which to me is crazy. I literally put my sisters through school, have her on my Uber account, send groceries home, etc. How should I respond? I don't want to lose my mom, but it's clear that she would prefer this financially abusive relationship than a healthy one with boundaries. Please help. I won't lie, I'm quite ticked and want to just say, okay, fine, goodbye. But I know that two angry, hurtful responses won't fix the situation. I agree with what OP said as far as two angry, hurtful responses won't fix the situation. I don't know if there's any great response that will fix the situation considering how both sides feel, but I would just try to remain level-headed and mention how you already help out as best as you can, and respectfully it feels like they're trying to take more from you than really is necessary, and maybe even adding that you're disappointed to see them act so childish or flippant or whatever word you want to use. If you want to talk about helping out or getting financial assistance, acting like that is not in any way a good faith measure. Our next story is, how do I tell a good friend that I don't want to travel with him again? I, 30-year-old female, have a friend, 27-year-old male, of about 8 years that I met in a university course. We are quite different in that he comes from a wealthier and much more conservative Christian family, and I come from a middle-class secular family, but we get along great when we hang out. He's kind and funny and supportive, but he also wants things his way and can be quite demanding in some ways. For example, I don't think I've ever eaten out with him where he didn't want something changed, wanting something from off the menu, or had some issues. He earns more than me and really loves travel, whereas I'm more of a frugal homebody. We've gone on weekend trips before, and I've had some fun, but both times I left feeling like I didn't want to travel with him again. Our travel styles are very different. For him, think shopping, spa, room service, high tea. For me, bushwalking, galleries, museums. He's quite disrespectful of my time too, so that's an issue. This year has been the worst year of his life for various reasons, and last time we spoke, he brought up that he'd love to do a trip with me again soon. Generally, I've been saying I can't afford it or coming up with excuses, but I got a better paying job and I've successfully avoided traveling with him this year, so I think it's time for a proper conversation with him. My question is, how should I approach it? I haven't been fully honest the last times we've traveled and said it was fun. Should I say I only have the capacity to hang out with people in short doses? Generally true, I don't travel with other friends. Or should I be more direct about our travel styles and differences? I'm expecting his reaction to be hurt, upset, and defensive either way, so that's why I've been putting it off. I'd like to hear if anyone has been in a similar situation before. I would be honest, I would try to phrase it in a way that hopefully is the least impactful as possible. Maybe that over time your styles while traveling together kind of clash as to what you're really looking for in vacations. That it's not a personal thing. If they have a flippant reaction to it, I think you really did the best you could do while just being honest and truthful to the person. Our next story is girlfriends, 27-year-old female, family always makes comments about what I, 28-year-old male, eat. I told her I was done eating around them, including not coming to Thanksgiving. My girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years. Our relationship is strong except for a recurring issue where her family is difficult, and she's not always great at standing up to them/for me. I'm a large man, not fat or anything, just very tall. I play 2 recreational sports and also bike a lot in my free time. As a result of this, I eat quite a lot. 95% of the time, I eat healthy but in larger quantities, and the other 5% of the time, I'll occasionally pig out. I'm not unhealthy in the slightest. I've been to a doctor recently and he affirmed I'm in good health and have a good healthy lifestyle by all measures. Weight, exercise, blood pressure, cholesterol, etc. So I know I'm doing everything right. However, my girlfriend's family constantly needs to comment on what and how much I eat. They live 2 hours away, so when we see them, it's typically us staying at their house for a whole weekend where I'm at the whims of whatever the menu is. If I eat more than one serving of something, then the mom or the sister will make comments or whisper to each other about how I'm eating into their leftovers the next day, or how it's unhealthy for me to have a second cookie or something. This is even if there is a ton of food, so I know I'm not eating their whole week's budget of food or anything. I've also tried bringing my own snacks, so I'm not infringing on their supply of food with my extra eating, but this doesn't work either. I'll sneak a granola bar or an apple or a bag of chips from my bag and they'll find out. I think they search the trash or something and let me know that it'll spoil my appetite, or ask whether the food mom made wasn't good enough for me. My girlfriend and I will also do our own activities out of the house during the day sometimes when we visit, so I have occasionally had to stop at a fast food place if I need to eat some fries or chicken nuggets or whatever out of the house. Whenever we come back, the mom or sister will make comments or ask if we ate anywhere else while we were out, and girlfriend gets nervous and confesses because she feels guilty or doesn't like lying to them. So after 3 years of this, I get really sick of being attacked for the amount I eat, even when it barely impacts them, and I know I'm eating an okay amount. It has gradually gotten worse over time. My breaking point came last week when it was girlfriend's mom's birthday, so we met at a restaurant in the middle between us one night. I ordered a burger and fries while everyone else ordered salads, and immediately, girlfriend's mom, sister, and aunt all started commenting about how the burger looked unhealthy. I stood up for myself and said that I'd biked dozens of miles that week already, so I think I can treat myself to a burger, to which the sister said that one unhealthy thing can wipe out weeks of working out, which I dismissed. I was hoping that would be it, but every 10 minutes, someone would make more comments, so I'm really getting annoyed. I eyeballed my girlfriend numerous times to be like, back me up here, and barely got anything. Finally, the food came and my burger was perfectly normal, not giant, not dripping with grease, not filled with unhealthy toppings, just a normal burger. But everyone was like, wow, that thing is enormous. You really shouldn't eat that in one sitting. It'll clog your arteries and you'll feel terrible afterwards. Seriously, that thing is so unhealthy, I think I would die immediately. I decided I was done after that. I snuck away to the bathroom and stopped at the front of the restaurant to ask for a box and to pay part of my bill early, came back to my table and announced that I was going to get going as I didn't feel well, and asked my girlfriend if she wanted a ride home or if she was going to figure out another way home. She got super embarrassed and said that she would come with me if I wait a few minutes. So I got in the car and ate my burger in there while I waited 10 minutes for her to come. We left and she cried the whole way home. I felt bad that it hurt her feelings, but I'm at my limit, and I told her I was done going to events where we eat food with her family, and if that means that I don't come with her when she visits her family, then that's just the way it has to be. I said I would be skipping Thanksgiving at her parents' this year. Since then, she has barely talked to me, but hasn't really fought me on it at all. I know it hurts her, but I have to stick up for myself here. I'm sick of being treated like I'm some fatso who eats like garbage when I know I live a healthier lifestyle than any of them. I'm not even that mad at my girlfriend. Obviously, I would appreciate the backup, but I know she's scared of her family since they're all kind of bullies, so I'm not just going to allow myself to be present at these opportunities. Whatever fallout happens as a result of this is just not my responsibility. Am I handling this right? Is there a nicer way I could have said everything or been gentler with my girlfriend? I don't want to hurt her feelings, but I have the right to protect myself if she won't. Honestly, in a situation like this, I would have loved nothing more than to hear OP stood up, said they were heading out, and just told them very honestly they all made him feel incredibly uncomfortable, and that if they want regular company and to be happy around them, that they should really start reconsidering how openly they judge people. I think it's fair to say that you live a happy, healthy life, and all you've received is constant judgment from going out to these dinner dates. They've shown time and time again that they cannot respect you to the point where you'd rather sneak food than feel judged by them. It's fine and all if they don't actually care enough to be considerate to people, but they should understand that that's why you're not wanting to show up again. I think that's more than fair to say, and you're absolutely in the right to say that. And if they get all upset about it, that's not your fault, and that just confirms everything about not showing up. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another really tricky relationship topic, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.